And Pete's, I'm back again, slouching on the couch, back from my chess tournament. I've got a bit of a loose end, so I thought I'd come on and talk about FPL for a bit because it's been pretty full on for me this week down at the chess, and I haven't had much time for FPL. Luckily, because I was fuming on Friday night when remember me, I was waxing lyrical all week about Sterling, wasn't I? About how he'd been improving every game, bit by bit, and he hit top form against West Ham. And I was like telling you how he was like the Sterling of Liverpool days, and he was going to smash it against Luton. And nobody believed me. You know, everyone was saying, "Oh, I don't think I'll bother with Sterling. You know, his stats are no good, etc., etc." But to me, that was proof against Luton that eye test is always ahead of stats. You know, stats tell you what's happened. Eye test tells you what's going to happen. Because you could see against West Ham that Sterling was on it. Full of confidence, up against Luton the next week. To me, it was pretty obvious. And when I sat down and watched that Chelsea game, I didn't actually have him. Because after going on and on all week, I did say to you I was going to buy him if Fernandez fell in price. Because Fernandez was home to Forest. I couldn't really justify selling him unless his price fell. So every night I was sitting there, he was so close to dropping nearly every night, down to minus 95, 96%. And I was poised on that button to bring Sterling in. And it never happened because Fernandez just didn't drop in price. So there's me sitting there watching the Chelsea game in two minds. On the one hand, I wanted Sterling to do well because I'd like predicted he was going to do well. But on the other hand, I didn't actually own him. And then he goes and scores that brilliant goal. And then he got another goal and an assist. And I was like, oh, what have I done? Why haven't I got Sterling? Honestly, that would have been the highlight of my FPL career, I think, because I picked him out when no one else was picking him. And to get 19 points like that and to not have him, it was excruciating. I bloody drove up the bloody wall. Honestly, unbelievable, really. I mean, I thought he might get a goal, you know, but to get 19 points like that and to absolutely run the show. I mean, I'd kind of seen it coming, but I still didn't expect. You don't expect that, do you, really? And I was fuming, honestly was. But then the next day, Fernandez got 12 points, so it only made a difference of 7 points. So it wasn't too bad in terms of the actual points. It was just very, very frustrating that I'd been on him all week and then not actually pull the trigger on him. Because I would have done. It was just that Fernandez didn't drop in price. As for Gabriel, well, that's another thing, wasn't it? I was talking about Udogie a lot last week. I was going to bring Udogie in. In the end, I didn't. I got Saliba instead. Just, I was so sick of the pain from falling behind the Saliba owners after the leak. Now, I was terrified to buy anybody else apart from Saliba, in case Saliba outscored them heavily, and it would have just driven me crazy. So I just got Saliba in to end the pain, basically. And within a minute, he'd lost his clean sheet. You know, so I scuppered all their clean sheets by buying him. So I took one from the team, peeps, and you lot who kept Gabriel, hopefully you had Udogie or the Chelsea defender on the bench and got lots of points, you know, because you deserve it, because it's karma, isn't it, for being put at a disadvantage by all the Saliba owners in game week 1. So anyway, I got 55 points, not the best. You don't want to hear about my team, though, do you? Especially as it's got a shit score. What you want to know is who you should be getting this week. Well, I don't know who you should be getting, but we know who the options are, don't we? So we'll have a quick look. So I've got to tell you, I'm not happy with this team. I'm not happy with Pickford. Got to go. Worst keeper I've ever bought in. It's not like he hasn't even had a save point. I mean, you could forgive him for conceding goals if his net was under fire, but he's had nothing to do. He can't even do nothing properly. He concedes a goal when it's just unbelievable. It's twice now it's been like after 80 minutes and he's conceded a goal and not even got a save point the entire season. 2 saves the entire game yesterday and letting in a goal. I'm sure a lot of keepers would have saved that goal. It's hopeless. I don't know how he plays for England, I honestly don't. Can't believe he's in my team. So I'm not happy with him. And unlike a lot of people, I'm not happy with Eustapian because I've seen his fixtures. And in 5 of the next 6 weeks, you're not going to want him. And Matoma, he's done well for me too. But there's no room for sentimentality in FPL. So, because he did, there were only 2 people that got me points last week, weren't they? Eustapian and Matoma. But they need to go. Because the fixtures, I'll just show you their fixtures. Because they're ridiculous. I'm showing you all this because I've got to justify my wildcard to you in a minute because I passed the button on my wildcard. I didn't really need to do it, to be honest. But I like to go early with my wildcards. Get it over and done with. Right, this is our next 6 fixtures. They've got Newcastle at home. The thing is, Brighton have lost their 2 best midfielders. Right? They've lost McAllister and Casado. Now, when they were playing Luton, it didn't matter. It did matter a bit against West Ham. They conceded 3 goals. They still look good attacking, Brighton. But the thing is, they're going to realise that they can't keep attacking like that because they're going to lose. Because they haven't got the midfield to justify it anymore. They can't have Eustapian playing in the opposition half, playing as a striker when they've got no decent holding midfielders anymore. And they're playing all these teams that are going to press them. They got Newcastle next week. Very hard. I wouldn't want to play Eustapian against Newcastle. Even Matoma. I think Newcastle are going to be pretty angry next week after losing to Liverpool like that. Then they're away at United. I mean, it's not a good fix. It's not terrible, but it's not where I'd want to start them. Bournemouth's a good one. He could get another 15 points against Bournemouth, couldn't he? But he probably won't. And then you've got Villa away, Liverpool at home, and City away in the next 6. And then they get a good run starting in game week 10. But I'm not going to hold Eustapian for 6 matches just because he's got a good run in game week 10. So I want my Brighton assets gone, basically. You can see I press the wildcard. I'm sick of Pickford. Oh, he's not there, is he? I better go back. Right, I'm sick of Pickford. I don't want Eustapian. I don't want Matoma. I don't want Martinelli. I only want 1 United attacker. Although 2's alright. I mean, Rashford's alright. I don't really want 2. And I don't like my bench. Archer's going to drop in price, I think, the next few days. A lot of people are selling him. Not because they don't like him, but because they want to move to 3-4-3. Because you've got people that are bringing in... They've got Jackson and Haaland, and it's not enough. People want Antonio this week. They might want Visser. There's quite a few people might want this week. And a lot of casuals will be getting Darwin Núñez. And they're not going to want Archer. So he's falling pretty quickly because he's low ownership. I think it's only another couple of thousand sales. So that's only 2,000 more people that have him switch to 3-4-3, and he's going to be dropping in price. So that's another reason for me to wildcard, because I don't want to spend a transfer sorting it out, or -4. Baldock's just not up to the job, and Ivers Bayer. I'm sick of Turner as well. I want the other one. So just on the strength of that, I pretty much wildcarded. I mean, I could have done a -8 and I'd have been fine, to be honest. But I like to do my own thing. I like to go early with a wildcard. I've had 3 weeks to see who we might want. I've put all these players in, and most of them won't stay. Like Edison won't stay. Anderson won't stay. He's actually just risen in price 10 minutes ago. So the thing is, when you're wildcarding, it's a good idea to put all these players in at the start of a week. Take advantage of our price rises, just in case you do want them. I put Bowen and Antonio in. I probably won't keep Bowen and Antonio, but I put them in just in case I might decide I want them. I don't want to decide I want them on Friday when they've already risen in price. But actually, I think it's not a bad move. If you're an aggressive manager and you've got Archer on your bench, it's not a bad plan to, if you've got money in the bank, to bring Antonio on this week just for a Luton game. I wouldn't be against it. You see what's happened with Brighton and Chelsea when they played Luton. Bowen and Antonio could have an absolute field day. Although the only caveat is that Luton are at home and they're expected to be a lot better at home than they are away. And it's their first home game of the season because they couldn't play the last one. So, and that with the tough fixtures that West Ham have got after that game is enough, I think, to put me off buying any West Ham for this Luton game. But I wouldn't be against it if you want to do that, because West Ham are one of the few teams I think that play better away and they're counter-attacking. And I don't think Luton are going to park the bus as much when they're at home. So it could actually suit Antonio. He's in a rich vein of form, isn't he? And he's a very form-based player. I think 2 years ago we all bought him, didn't he? Because he was on fire. He was scoring loads of goals, and then as soon as we all got him, he stopped. And that's the sort of player he is. But he's in the rich vein of form at the moment. So Haaland will stay, Jackson will stay, Saka will stay, Sterling and Maddison are in 100%. Mbeumo won't stay. He's another one who might go up in price. I could decide. If someone else got injured, I might keep him. So I'll put him in there just so I don't miss his price rise. But I'd say Fernandes will be coming in for him. And then I've got to decide on my fifth midfielder, which, I'll tell you what, everyone's selling Foden. Everyone was buying Foden last week. And now everyone's selling Foden. And it's really, really ridiculous, in my opinion, because you look at the XG table. This is expected goals against, and Fulham are at the top. Now, City are at home to Fulham this week. And Foden did not play because of Pep Roulette. He played because he was sick. He had a dose of the runs, I think. So, he probably is. I'm not going to say he is going to play next week because it's like a curse, and nobody knows. That's what annoys me on Twitter when you say, "Oh, he's going to start 100%," and it's like, what are you talking about? You don't know. No one knows 100%. Like everyone thought Gabriel was going to start this week. Didn't start again. 3 weeks in a row. Just ridiculous. So, but he should start against Fulham, and I'm expecting City to absolutely batter them, to be honest. This next week is a week where City go to town, and it's going to be on Fulham. And you see Brighton. This is what I'm saying about Brighton. This is why I don't want Brighton players in Eustapian. There's no room for sentimentality in FPL, like I said before. And they're the third highest expected goals against, Brighton are. And that was one game. They played Luton, didn't they? They played Luton, West Ham. Who else did they play? I can't remember who else they played. Was that anyone good? I don't think it was it? Brighton played Wolves. So we haven't had tough fixtures, not really. And yet they're the third worst in terms of expected goal against. They're really missing Casado and McAllister. And I'll tell you what, the fixtures they've got, like I said, they can't afford to go attacking teams. They really can't. So I don't want anything to do with them. I think they've flattered Brighton because of their opponents. They are good, aren't they? They are good, but they've had so much space in that. The next 6 weeks, they're not going to get that, apart from maybe the Bournemouth game. So they're gone for me. And Yeah, no, they're gone. So I thought I'd show you that. Definitely want Brighton out. And who else? Tottenham. No, Tottenham are a bit like Chelsea. New manager. You can see when they're playing that they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it. They're like bonding and they're looking like they're really enjoying their football. And to me, Maddison has got to be in my team. Udogie got to be in my team. I underestimated him last week. I wasn't sure he was nailed. And I didn't expect them to keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth, but they did. And again, on that XG stats, Bournemouth didn't really create much. So we might have been wrong about Tottenham's defence. It might be better than we've given them credit for. So I definitely want him. Because for one thing, he's a cash cow. Already got a 0.1 rise out of him last night. He's going to go up again. So I definitely want him in my team. And I could have got him for free just about anyway. But I'm probably going to get rid of Saliba as well. But I don't want to take him out yet. This is another thing. If you're not sure about whether you're going to take a player out, don't do it at the start of your wildcard. Because when you try and get them back in at the end of the week, you have to pay more than the price you took them out for. And you don't want to do that. I did that with you Stapin because I know 100% I don't want him. But the fact he's not even here shows you my intention. He's gone now. Because if I wanted to get him back, I would have had to have paid more than I took him out for. So I'm 100% sure he won't be in my team next week. It's a bit of a dilemma, isn't it, with him? Do you start him for potential attacking returns against a team like Newcastle when you pretty much know you're not going to get a clean sheet? Or do you bench him? You know, either way, it's annoying, isn't it? If he's on your bench and he scores, you're annoyed. If you play him and he blanks and gets 0 points, he's annoying you again. So I'd rather just not have him in my team at all. So that's about it, Peeps. Jackson will be staying. He did well, didn't he? He's looking pretty good. Got his first goal. That's going to do his confidence good. I don't think he's a 20-goal a season striker, but I think we might see 15 out of him. Chelsea will keep improving. I think that game against Luton, it's going to give them a lot more confidence. Sterling's going to keep scoring. He's back to his best. He's relishing his role. And I can't speak highly enough about Sterling. Same with Maddison, really. And I was wrong about Fernandes, wasn't I? I wasn't expecting much from him this week. But that's one area where stats actually did point things out, didn't it? I think he was really high on the stats, and he did actually come good. Although it was a bit of a dodgy penalty. If you take the penalty out, actually, if you take the penalty out, people would still be selling him now, wouldn't they? So would have been a different story. That's the thing with this fantasy, isn't it? It all depends on the bounce of the ball and refereeing decisions, and it can all change very quickly. But like I said, I'm playing my wild card. I go early. This time of year, after Streaks, is when a lot more active managers, prices are changing quickly. I like to use it then. It settles down by game week 8, 9, when a lot of people use their wild card. Then prices have settled down. So there's not so much urgency to take players in and out, etc. So I prefer using it early. I always have done. I think I've used it in game week 2 quite a few times. But like I said, I'm pretty sure who I want now and who I don't want. And it's all good. I was going to say something. I can't remember what I was going to say now. But yeah, I like using it early. And it's like a safety net, isn't it? Once you've take away your safety net, then it kind of focuses your mind a bit more, because you've have to make good long-term transfers once you've used your wild card. So before you can play a bit fast and loose with your transfers before you use it. But I certainly wouldn't tell other people when to use a wild card, or when to make their transfers. That someone was on Twitter this week. I think it was Praz, wasn't it? Come on and told people not to make transfers on a Monday night or a Sunday night. Well, what's it got to do with him when people make their transfers? I made 2 myself on Sunday because I pretty much knew I was going to wildcard anyway. and I thought I'd make them. I mean, I was using this example. What about Gabriel? Right? If you say you had Gabriel and he didn't play, are you supposed to wait until the next Friday to swap him out for Udogie? I mean, he's going to drop in price probably twice before then. He's going to go from 4.9 to 4.7, or maybe even just 4.8. But Udogie's probably going to go up 0.2. He's already gone up 0.1. So if you keep Gabriel until Friday and then transfer him out to Udogie, you've lost 0.3 in value. Just because didn't go early because Praz told you not to make any transfers till a Friday. Everyone's different. Some people have got different tolerance for risk. You've got to weigh up the likelihood he gets injured against the likelihood that he doesn't get injured, etc., and you lose money. You're locking in all those losses just to wait 4 days. It's ridiculous, especially if you've got a wild card in your pocket. I think you're better off going early, making the money, and then if it all goes wrong, you can always use your wild card, can't you? So everyone plays the game differently. That's the way I play it. But for someone to come on Twitter and start telling people what they should do, to me, it's all wrong. I never tell people what they should do. I might offer suggestions. I always say, well, if it was me, I'd do this or I'd do that. But I never just go on and tell other people what they should do. It's just ridiculous. You get a lot on Twitter. People like setting themselves up as blooming experts and gurus, telling other people how to play. For clicks and whatever else. And then you look at their rank history and you see they're boasting because they've had 3 top 10k finishes or something, and that's it. And you think, well, what? Just go away, get off my timeline. Just telling people how to bloody play. Play the game how you want, peeps. If you want to make early transfers, make them. If you're an aggressive player, you go early. If you're an aggressive player, you might buy a player just for a Luton game. If you're a cautious manager, you wait till Friday. You don't mind losing team value. It's fine. Whichever way, whatever you want to do is good. There's so many more ways to play this game than just there's lots of different ways. Saw a team today that didn't even have Haaland in it. Never had Haaland all season. It's way ahead of my team. Yet people say Haaland's essential. Well, no one is. There's so many different ways you can play this game. Personally, I wouldn't go without Haaland, especially when they're playing Fulham. But it's up to other people what they want to do, isn't it? You never tell people what to do. It's one of you peeps. I told you what to do last week. You didn't listen. If you got Sterling like I told you, you'd have been fine, wouldn't you? So think on, peeps. But seriously, I did make a bloody good suggestion there, didn't I? I hope some of you followed it, because it was so logical what I came up with. I did a big long blog post about it, all the reasons why Sterling was a good pick last week. So you listen to this show, peeps, you get good advice, and you're fine, aren't you? You don't have to take it. It's up to you. No one's forcing you to do anything. But doesn't often work out like that, to be fair, does it? You can get all the logic. Everything can be all logic towards getting Sterling in, and everything can be fine. And then he gets injured in 5 minutes, or gets his shits like Foden, and suddenly you've gone from hero to zero, because of the bounce of a ball. But the logic's there, and if you do everything logically, then sooner or later you're going to get rewarded, aren't you? Whether it's logical for me to wildcard or not, I don't know. But I've always done it, always gone early. And it just suits me. It's like burns a hole in my pocket when I've got it. I'm always itching to use it. And like I said, if it was a haircut, it would be, I'd just be going to the barber's for a trim. Trimming out the fat, getting rid of those Bulldogs and the Burnley defender, and probably Pickford and a few other people, and just tidying it up. I get nearly everyone I bring in will get a 0.1 rise at least this week. So it takes away the pressure to have to sell people in 3 or 4 weeks when they're, because they're not going to, if they lose 0.1 back, it doesn't cost me any money. So it kind of gives me stability going forward. because people are saying that money's not important this season, aren't they? Everyone's saying money's not important. But I'll tell you what, there's Liverpool and Salah. It's easy to say he's not important at the moment, but there will become a time when he is. I mean, look at game week 8 and 9. He's home to Everton. Even the Brighton game. We saw from their XG that they're not that great on defence. They've got Everton and Forest. Where are we? They've got Everton, Forest and Luton. Look at this. Everton, Forest, Luton and Brentford. Now, whenever you wildcard, that's like when a lot of people are wildcarding, I think, isn't it? So the thing you're going to want for that is money, because you're going to need money, because you're not going to want a shitty Salah team, are you? You're going to want a good Salah team. You're going to want all the other people that you've already got, which is why I'd never wait until a Friday to get a player if it was going to cost me 0.3 extra to do it. So when someone comes and tells you not to make any transfers till a Friday, you just tell them to get stuffed, really, because you just do what you want to do. Because every circumstance is different. It depends what player you're taking out, what player you're bringing in, how much budget you've got left. If you've got the exact money to do something and waiting would price you out of it, then it's probably worth a risk to go early, isn't it? But if nothing's happening, if no one's rising in price, no one's falling in price, then it probably is silly to go early. But like I said, every situation's different. Every manager's different. Everyone plays the game differently. I can't stress this enough. So when people start telling other people how to play, it really gets on my goat. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I can see here, peeps, just looking at these Liverpool fixtures, that I'm going to want Mr. Salah in. And I'm going to want Mr. Salah with a nice team. So this is why I go early. It's why I prioritise a money wildcard as much as a player wildcard, because I think I've seen the players I'm going to want. I don't see it changing too much. I'm still going to want my Chelsea players. I'm still going to want my Tottenham players. You're always going to want someone like Fernandes and Saka, pretty much regardless. I mean, they haven't got bad fixtures anyway. But they're pretty much fixture proof, aren't they? So the core of your players is all there. You might add Newcastle got good fixtures coming up. So you're going to add a Newcastle. I might well keep Botman on this wild card. Or even get Trippier. I might even get Trippier on the wild card. And but I do want 5 decent defenders so I can rotate a bit. But what I do want is lots of money for Salah. So, and I think it's doable now. It will be by game week 9, game week 10 when I want him. If I keep aggressively avoiding price drops, taking advantage of price rises, and it'll all be good. As these people that say money doesn't matter and are like letting players drop in price by 0.2 and missing out on others going up and that, then they might not find it so easy, especially later on in the season. It's going to make a big difference, 20 game weeks down the track. So anyway, peeps, that's enough of that. I'm off now. I've had enough. And this would be my team for next week if I... No, it certainly won't be, because Edison won't be there. Cash is interesting, isn't he? He's playing as a winger. He used to play for a winger before, so he is actually a proper winger in a past life. So, and he played as a winger, and he got 2 goals. So I don't know why Bailey wasn't playing, whether Bailey's injured or whether the manager just prefers cash. But it's a pretty good sign. He's pretty versatile, so any injuries in defence, he should see a lot of game time. And at 4.5 million, like I said, I'm having 5 players, so they don't all have to start. So it's not like before my wild card, whereas if someone didn't play, I pretty much got 0 off the bank, which is why I can have a Foden or someone like that, because I'm going to have good backup now. And Cash does look very interesting indeed. Anderson, like I said, he won't be staying. And Udogie definitely will. Chilwell, Udogie, Saliba probably won't. Saliba might become Trippier. I want somebody that's a rock, you know, that the others can rotate around, because pretty much Chilwell and someone like Trippier would play every week, or Saliba, and but the others, they'll just be rotating based on their fixtures. Apparently Udogie be playing most weeks, he's got good fixtures, and that's about it, I think. So basically, play your own game. Listen to me, because you know that after seeing all those good players I recommended to you last week, you know that I recommend stuff that other people don't. I just don't come on and tell you to buy Haaland, do I? So anyway, peeps, I'm off now. I'll be back later in the week. Something's going to happen, isn't it? Something will go off on Twitter, and it'll all be chaos again. As for the gambling, it's calmed down a bit there. Apparently Scout are actually seriously taking advice on board. You know, they don't like being attacked like we've been attacking them, and they're actually going to, by the sounds of it, they're going to put that filter on the front page somewhere, make it more prominent, so that we will actually be able to go onto the site and easily filter out adverts that we don't want to be able to see. So that would be good. And hopefully that's, you know, apparently these things take time, but it is in the works, so we might see some progress on that. And I think it's generally improved out there, isn't it? So anyway, peeps, I'm off now. I'm losing my voice, and I've got to go and get a drink anyway. So I'll see you all later. Remember to like and subscribe, and we want to get up to 1,000, nearly up to 1,000. You know, I think I deserve it after giving you all sterling last week, don't I? Especially as I didn't get him myself, you know. So I'll be even more slouched down on this couch in a minute, because I've had enough. It's giving me a migraine thinking about that Chelsea game. Although I did enjoy, I think until Jackson scored, I was a bit miserable about the whole thing, you know, because I had Chilwell and Jackson. And after being so high on Chelsea all season, and seeing all the other Chelsea players got all those points, but to see Jackson score, it's so nice to see him score, you know, because he's got such a nice attitude and that it cheered me up. And I was a bit philosophical about not having Sterling, especially after Fernandes got some points as well. Anyway, Pips, I'll talk to you all later, and cheers for now. Okay then, right, bye for now then, Pips, and I'll talk to you later.